The seasonal festivals we had in The Sims 3 not making it into The Sims 4 Seasons expansion pack was a big miss for me. Those fairgrounds really helped bring freshness into the game with each new season, and I missed that. So I decided to take things into my own hands and created my own interpretation, my own version of this fair for us in The Sims 4. I'm building variations of this fair for each season, and today I'll be sharing my spring festival version. I've already done the fall and winter versions of this lot. I'll put a card up here to the playlist so you can check out what this area looks like and the different activities your Sims can do here in the other seasons too. I'll be working on the summer festival next, so leave a comment below about what you'd like to see included in that lot. Here we have a couple of food stalls and picnic tables. Your Sims can stop by to grab a cupcake with friends for a special Valentine's Day treat. Now, this lot is not just focused on Love Day or Valentine's Day. Instead, I try to incorporate lots of different activities that seemed springish to me. There are plenty of romantic spots for spending time with your dates, but there are also spots to enjoy the warming weather and new flowers with your friends, your family, or just on your own. This fenced-in area is for seasonal crafting. The patio at the back I made into a spot for cross-stitching. This area in the winter version had knitting, and for some reason, cross-stitching just seemed like the springtime version of this for me, so this is what I converted it into. Attached to the patio are the restrooms. I wanted to make this festival welcoming to the entire family, so I included a bathtub, a changing room with a toddler potty, and a litter box in this area. There are also some additional pet toys and a food bowl in the yoga area, which we'll get to a little later on. On this side, I put a grill and picnic table. There are also a few more kids' toys and monkey bars over here, so there are a variety of things for your kids and toddlers to do here too. The middle area here is for floral arranging. Along the fence is a display area for people to show off their arrangements. There's also a few floral arranging tables at the center here, so your Sims can actually create some pieces. I know it's been a while since my last Sims stop motion build, so thanks for your patience and for sticking with me here. Spring is meant to be a time where we feel energized and motivated, but that's just not happening for me. So I've been trying to take things slow and spend time doing silly things like coloring and playing dating sims to recharge. If you're also feeling a bit drained despite the season, that is totally valid. Do what you need to take care of yourself and know that everything passes eventually. Speaking of taking care of our minds, our bodies, over here is a group yoga area. The only thing that would make it better in my mind would be to add in some cute farm animals. I've never done that goat yoga thing, but it sounds like an amazingly fun time. Right next to the yoga area, we have a lavender field. It is just a pretty place to have your Sims take a stroll with their date perhaps, or take some selfies with a friend. Moving toward the back here, there's a little patio with a fountain. I love that frog water emitter, so I made sure to include it in this fountain. We've got frogs and lavender, so this is definitely shaping up to be the best spot for your lesbian and queer Sims to take their dates. As a queer who loves amphibians and herbs, I can attest to this. The only thing that'd make it better would be if I could be walking around here with a lavender iced coffee in my hand. This glass building is a sort of atrium with a cafe inside. In here, there's stuff for your Sims to have a fancy tea party or brunch with their pals. On each end, there's a counter where you can grab a tea, some pastries, or a cocktail. I imagine this would be a really popular spot for your elder Sims to bring their grandkids for a special treat. At least for me, I remember frequently having tea parties with my grandma and my siblings and cousin, so if there was a place like this around, I know my grandma would have brought us here for sure. I wanted to have a really pretty, intimate space for Sims to have a romantic date, maybe propose to their partners. So back here, there's plenty of tree cover and flowers everywhere. There's also a violin and that VIP bucket for extra romantic energy here. This area I made into a sort of petting farm for Sims to bring their kids. You unfortunately can't add any actual animals into the barn and the coop. So you could either just pretend and take some photos when your Sims visit this park, or you could change it to be a residential lot, move a random Sim in as a sort of groundskeeper, have them add the animals, then have your Sims visit. There wouldn't be as many other Sims spawning here to use things, but you should be able to interact with the farm animals, I think. I'd probably just keep it as a park and pretend there's a real petting farm, but that's just me. If it bothers you though, swap in something else here, maybe some playground equipment. Next to the petting farm is an old barn converted into a wedding venue. I wanted this to be a really lovely springtime wedding venue. So keeping with the theme, I went heavy on the flowers and pastel color palette with a slightly rustic vibe since it is in an old barn. To complete this wedding venue, there's a table for gifts, space for music, a spot for the wedding cake, and space for guests to sit and eat. This barn is in each version of this lot, and I decorate the inside differently for each season. So if you're not into the soft spring vibes here and have Sims who would rather a glittery winter or earthy autumn wedding, definitely check out my videos on the other versions of this lot too. Moving back outside, this is the greenhouse area. Inside each of these are planters with a variety of spring seasonal plants. So you can bring your Sims over here to grab some harvestables to plant in their own garden or flowers to use at the floral arranging tables over in the crafting area. Up at the front here is an arts and crafts market. I outplaced most of the items on the different vendor stalls, so they likely won't function fully, but you could definitely have your Sims set up their own market table to sell their items here. The first vendor is a flower stall. Spring and flowers seem to go hand in hand. Besides wanting to bring them into our homes to add new life after winter, we're also likely wanting to buy flowers as gifts, whether that's for Love Day or Mother's Day or just because. Next to it is a tea stand. So far I've included this vendor at every market because tea is an all-around essential for me. It's time to lighten things up with fresh teas like lavender and rose and lemon balm. At the center is a stage for you musical Sims to perform. There's a busking station, so your Sims can earn a bit of simoleons if they bring their own instrument. If not, there are already a few for them to use here. The next vendor is our candle maker. Since spring is a season of love and romance for many, a place to buy candles made sense to have here again. After that is our bakery stall. I have a huge sweet tooth and love baking, so I'll take any excuse I can to add in more treats. The last vendor is a crafts table. So much of the knitting and cross-stitching stuff really meshed well with this whole soft, cutesy vibe I have going on here, so I made a whole stall for a bunch of it. There's so much fun, cute stuff here, it's probably my favorite market stall. Alright, that's the whole build. I'm definitely not really into that soft, pastel, cutesy vibe in real life, but it made sense for this spring festival and I enjoyed using all this stuff that I normally wouldn't be drawn to, and I think it turned out quite well in the end. Now let's get a better look at everything and how some of my Sims spend their time here together in live mode. I hope you bring your Sims to this festival to get outside and refresh themselves after a long, dreary winter. Whether that's having a romantic date, a fun brunch with their pals, or a crafty day by themselves. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, click the like button. I have plenty more builds coming, so if you want to see more, be sure to subscribe and ring the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Remember, be kind to yourself today, and I'll see you next time.